A great customer experience starts exactly where they are. Hi, I'm Paula Goldrich. I'm the head of product marketing for Webex CPaaS Solutions, and I'll be joined today by David Creasey-Benjamin, Webex CPaaS Solutions Future Messaging Evangelist. He'll talk to you today about the Webex Connect channels that can help insurance companies reach their current and future members exactly where they are. Over to you.
Thanks for the introduction, Paula. As you said, I'm David Creasey-Benjamin, affectionately known as DCB, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the rich messaging channels that we recommend for insurance. The reason we recommend messaging channels is quite simple. It's what your customers want. We send 140 billion messages every single day. It's 28 messages for every adult on the planet. It's where we spend our time on our mobile devices, and we all have our channel of choice. Whenever we go out and we speak to customers, the research tells us that customers want to be able to choose their channel. Only 12% of millennials actually cite telephone as their favorite method of contacting a business. 72% want to choose their preferred channel. And we know using the rich messaging channels allows you to have a rich conversation directly where that person is speaking to their friends and family. So you can have a very personal, a very trusted conversation between your verified business, between your end consumer, whether that's at lead gen, whether that's during a claim, or whether it's when you hit renewal. Messaging is going to get you your best levels of engagement and get your best levels of interaction. We see the trends across industry towards automation and AI. The rich channels lend themselves here because the customer still feels they're having a one-to-one conversation. Imagine you're placing yourselves directly into that personal inbox so you can have the same conversation that you would have if they've met you face to face. That's the level of conversation we're talking about. And it happens all the way across the customer's life cycle. Whether it's right at the beginning from your digital campaigns and getting a quote, so first getting that customer from a lead into a sale, whether it's into the life cycle, so whether they're making a claim, whether they're simply calling to check something about their policy, whether that you're seeing them from end to end or into that renewal process, so you're making sure you retain that customer. Having hyper-personalized, rich messaging means that that customer will always feel like they're being dealt with one-to-one. Most insurers use SMS today. You send notifications, you let customers know what's happening, and it's an awesome channel that everybody has. But it is typically one way, and we're becoming less and less likely to click links in a message from a telephone number. So the first thing that we recommend in any digital transformation is to secure your notifications. So move that same SMS content into a rich channel. Take advantage of the new tick mechanism that we're all starting to recognize, as we once started to recognize green padlocks as being the safety point online. Send a message not from a telephone number, but from your brand. Have your logo, have your slogan, have a tick to say, this is us. Even doing that with the same SMS content is going to get you an uplift in engagement, because customers will know that it's you, they'll trust that the message is accurate and that they absolutely should respond. The step from there, though, into a conversational world is much shorter. You can adopt WhatsApp, huge footprint across Europe, growing in the northern US. WhatsApp has a huge recognition amongst customers and is a trusted channel known for being secure. It has loads of features, so you can deliver an app-like experience directly into that inbox where customers are talking to their friends and family. You can share literature, you can share files, share media, and you can drive that personalized conversation. If you're attracting customers from Google search, paying to be top of that those search results, you can use Google Business Message to drop the call to action to chat directly into that search result. Again, into a rich, secure, encrypted channel. You can speak to that customer on their device directly from the moment that they've searched for you, or indeed searched for your sales partner. If Apple users are who you need to read out to, and why wouldn't you? They are the richest real estate that you want your eyeballs on. Then use Apple Messages for Business. Directly located on the device, built into the Apple ecosystem. Apple Messages for Business has all the rich features of the other channels, with the added benefit of being able to use Apple Pay and to use authentication directly in the messaging channel, so you can have a truly end-to-end experience. Or to uplift your SMS, your outbound messaging, using RCS, the new default channel for an Android device, taking over from SMS, being adopted by the mobile networks. Again, you have buttons to be able to guide the customer through the conversation. You have the ability to share rich media, so whether it's video, audio, GIFs or imagery, you can enhance your conversation to make sure the customer knows the product that they're looking at, knows the product that they're making a claim on, or indeed knows the product that they're renewing for. These are the 4 channels that we would clearly recommend any insurer to look at. The additional reason would be these channels are discoverable. Google Business Message, I've already mentioned, gives you a link directly from search. You are investing in search ads now. You are paying for SEO optimization. You are making sure you or your business partners, or your sales partners, I should say, are top of those search results. We know that chat is the most engaging call to action. So this channel is very simply going to put that button directly on those search results. So you know a customer is looking for this particular type of product. They can reach out to you and ask that immediate question. You can automate the responses with your latest offers. You can share the terms and conditions documents directly in the channel, and you can take a customer from a lead into a sale. It's also worth considering the entry points from social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or indeed Twitter. If a customer is searching for you, you should be able to respond. You need to be where they are. So making sure that you manage those DM channels to not miss any opportunities to either improve the customer experience or indeed make a sale, they should be considered. If you have bricks and mortar agencies, make sure the locations are tied to Apple Messages for Business and indeed Google Business Messages, so that when the customer is using their Maps app of choice, they have the direct call to action to press chat and speak to you immediately when they start looking for you. Directories are becoming more prevalent. You'll find this in WhatsApp in Europe now. It's coming to the northern US later this year. If you go to start a conversation, you'll be able to start a conversation with a business, which means that you'll have your own section for insurers, and a customer will be able to just simply select you from a list and start having a conversation. If call avoidance is something that you're focused on, Apple Messages for Business Chat Suggest feature is also something that's worth having the channel. If a customer tries to call you from an Apple device and you've activated the feature for your number, the Apple device will make the suggestion to the customer, did you know you could message us instead? Somewhere between 70 and 90% of customers that see that message click that button. You can take them directly into a personal conversation straight away and avoid the call coming into your call center. So the first step that we recommend is to secure your outbound notifications. Take the SMS content that you're sending today and to send it down a rich, verified, branded channel. A provider like Webex is able to do this for you automatically. You'll send the same SMS request that you send today. We'll check the validity of the phone number against the channel that we're using. And if it's available, we will send the same SMS content down the richer channel. What arrives on the customer's phone at the other end, as you can see, is a branded, verified message. So it doesn't come from a telephone number anymore. It comes from you. It comes with a tick that the customer can click on and know that it's been verified either by their local operator or indeed by Google. This alone will get you an uplift in engagement, and it's purely down to the level of trust the customer will place in the message that has arrived. When we turn and we look to lead generation, Facebook ads is another place that you will be spending money. About a third of all advertising money is being spent on Facebook ads right now. And the majority of calls to action will go to your website or indeed go to a web form. These are successful, but you can make them more successful. You can choose to click to WhatsApp. So you get the same ad with the same placement for the same value that you're buying today, except the call to action is send us a message. You click on that and the customer will open up WhatsApp on their phone and they'll be able to send you a message directly. You're then directly into a one-to-one conversation, a personal conversation, which you can automate based on the ad that they clicked. And you can take them from whatever whatever ad got them interested all the way through to that product sale directly in that messaging channel. Meta see this is a huge plus point for them as a business. They are actually offering WhatsApp messaging free of charge for 72 hours if it's put as the call to action to a Facebook ad purchase. So not only can you get a better engagement, potentially it will cost you less money. So the 4 channels in summary that we're looking at directly for insurance. We have RCS, which is the replacement for SMS across Android. We have Apple Messages for Business, which is the default on all your iDevices, and those are the eyeballs that you want. We have Google Business Message, so that when a customer is searching for you, they can activate a chat immediately. And finally, if it's suitable for your geography, which is pretty much everywhere, we recommend WhatsApp. It's one of the richest channels with name recognition from the customer, with the added benefit that you can make it the best value call to action from a Facebook ad.
Thank you so much for that, DCB. That was such a great introduction to the channels that are most important for insurance companies and why it's important for both them and their customers in getting in touch with them at all different points in their life cycle. I did have a few questions for you, though, around some of the channels and the implementation of some of them. I was wondering if we could have, a little chat and maybe you could answer a few of those questions for me.
Of course, very happy to.
Awesome, awesome. So my first question for you is, what channels are most important for insurance clients, would you say?
Well, I think for insurers, it is always important to be able to gain new customers and to retain existing ones. Those are the 2 key points. No one wants to make an insurance claim. We only want to talk to you when we're new and when we're about to leave. So actually, to give you the best discoverability, it should be Google Business Messages and Apple Business Messages. Google, because I'm terribly sorry, Microsoft, we don't Bing anything. There's a reason that Google is a verb. We all look for the things that we want using that search engine. And, when you're looking for insurance, what do you go and find? So I'm looking for a car insurance quote. I'm looking for a health insurance quote, whatever it is. And our insurance clients will already be spending a huge amount of money for that search engine optimization. You want to be top of that list, or you want your sales agents to be top of that list. So you want to make the most value out of being top of that list. And the best call to action, bar none, is to message, because you go immediately into what feels like a very personal conversation. So you can imagine the high street equivalent. You're looking for a product, you'll walk into a store and you'll walk up to the assistant and say, okay, I want to buy. What you're doing with Google Business Messages, you are doing that in a digital world. And you're taking, so you imagine you can bring someone in and you can start having that one-to-one conversation. The reason I sort of pair that with Apple is there are multiple sets of devices in the world. You have Android and you have iOS. They're the big ones, let's face it. And what Apple have done is to create a privacy-centric messaging service in iMessage, and they have opened it up to business in the form of business messages. But because they control their ecosystem, they've placed messages as a call to action everywhere. So again, if I just on my iDevice, and I do mean any iDevice, whether it's your desktop, whether it's your watch, whether it's your iPad, or indeed the phone, if you scroll down and you search, and a customer's active for Apple Messages for Business and they find you, the button's right there. And they can immediately start talking. And that's in location search, it's in spotlight search, and I think I alluded to, it's in, even if they try and call you, get someone into a one-to-one conversation. The research tells us, and practically from the examples we have from our real customers, if you have someone in a one-to-one conversation, it's much easier to get their engagement, to improve their experience, and indeed convert them.
And I would also argue that the faster that you can get them into that one-to-one engagement,
yeah,
it is probably most important, right? If you are sitting on hold or if you're searching for a phone number versus just clicking into a chat or a one-to-one engagement, you're getting that conversation
Oh, yeah.
immediately.
You're getting that. You get that immediately. You know, the less time to serve, the less time a customer has to do, and the less things they have to do to be able to talk to you. I mean, we see examples time and again from an SMS response. So you're there's an example that springs to mind from a customer. The call to action was reply yes and hit send. So YES send. That's 4 button presses. We took that customer and we put them into a rich channel. So instead of replying yes, there was just a button underneath that said tap yes. So you go from 4 button presses down to 1. It doubled the amount of people that said yes overnight. We are looking for ease and we want ease of use. And it's a perfect example. It's a simple change that gets you better engagement.
Exactly. And I also think, there's an ebb and flow in the market and in the behavior of your customers, your members, whoever they are, that are doing these same actions in their everyday life in a bunch of different ways. So as a business, you kind of following suit is just allowing for that natural progression of interaction with your customers. You're not trying to change their behavior necessarily. You're trying to attach yourself to what they're normally doing in other areas of their life on their mobile device.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the thing we use our phone most for is messaging. That's what we look for. And there's a lovely quote I want to say. It's from Forrester. Empowered customers are quickly becoming entitled customers. More businesses that adopt messaging. If suddenly you look from one business that is doing it to another business that isn't, it's a real customer turnoff, and their expectations are changing. You look at the names we'll always throw out, but you look at the likes of Netflix that are changing those communications immediately. More companies that don't adopt, customers are going to go another way.
Now, for insurance companies, their common pain points tend to fall within the claims process and the speed from start to finish, as well as gaining new customers through quotes and customer acquisition. Can you talk about how rich channels can provide a solution for both of these common challenges?
Oh, absolutely. So I think the attraction, to attract a new customer, any insurer is looking to do that for the least cost possible, but obviously in the most effective manner. We've sort of alluded to in the Google piece and the Apple piece, making sure you're discoverable so the customer can click immediately means that you're going to attract more clients because you're going to be top of those search results. You're going to have the easiest call to action. And then what you do in the channel is you have the ebb and flow of a one-to-one conversation. So and the advantage of doing it that way, when you acquire a customer digitally, they are more likely to be a digital customer for life, for as long as they're going to be with you. So if they adopt you through, let's say, WhatsApp on this occasion, the next time they need to speak to you, so if they've got a service conversation, they're going to come straight back there. They're not going to go looking around for your phone number. They're going to know, oh, yes, no, I bought that on WhatsApp, so I'll go straight back there. And we see that time and time again. A utilities company I'll point to in the UK, rather than an insurer, but they introduced WhatsApp to their customers. Customers chose to interact and to get support on that particular channel. 85% of them, the next time they needed to speak to that company, they came straight back to that channel. And what that means is when it then comes time for renewal, which is the other point, that you're most at risk of losing the customer, they're most sensitive to cost, and they have to make a decision of one type or another, you can reach out to them on what has become a trusted channel through that acquisition and through service. And you can place that offer directly in their channel of choice, directly in front of them, which is going to make them more likely to go, oh, yes, right, and action it then and there. And again, you've got the advantage of that personal one-to-one interaction. The more personalized you make these conversations, the more effective they are. And if you've got someone in a digital world, the more easily you can do that as a business.
Let's talk a little bit about customer validation and the security that goes along with that. Can you speak about how a policyholder who is maybe looking to chat about their specific policy or account might validate their identity on one of these rich media channels, and how the messaging channels can then keep that information secure.
Okay, so absolutely, and it's one of the things that Webex excels at. You know, security is one of our go-to, and we wouldn't recommend channels that weren't secure. Each of the channels that I've mentioned is encrypted from end to end. So essentially, the only people that see the content of the message are you as a business, so on the platform that you choose to send the message from, and the user at the other end. So immediately you've effectively got a secure tunnel. So no one else is going to be able to read that content except the people that are allowed. When it comes to actually making a payment, Apple, for instance, has Apple Pay built in. The customer is going to use the same biometrics on their device to authorize it as if they were in a store. You also, if you've used Apple Pay before, which I'm sure you have, you share your details with it. It's passed back and forth in a secure manner. So it's something that customers are used to using. When it comes to the other channels, Webex bring a payment gateway which can be placed in any channel that does exactly the same thing. Works slightly differently. We use a PCI DSS compliant, that's the official term, third-party gateway. But we place the link within the message, customer opens, card details as a one-off, payments goes through, and we process it back through. When it comes to identifying a customer, though, there's a couple of idiosyncrasies. So with WhatsApp and with RCS, we use the customer's telephone number, same way that you always have. With Apple and Google, there's actually an extra layer of privacy, because the first conversation you have with the customer, they have to start it. They have to send you the first message. And what happens when they do that is a completely unique token is created between their account and your account. So it's not even something you could share with another business and they can start messaging customers. It is entirely unique to you and to that customer, which makes it more secure than any of the channels that are using mobile number. There's no reselling of numbers, no reselling of IDs or any of those sort of leaks that can occur. What you're looking at is a unique reference between you and the business.
And how about the insurance companies themselves? How do they validate themselves to their members, policyholders, or even prospects? A pillar of security that we always kind of talk about is customer validation, but also sender verification. And that is kind of who's sending the message and how do these insurance companies validate that it's really them and not anything malicious.
So this is one of the massive advantages these channels have over SMS. SMS has been around for 30 years. And when you send a message out, particularly if you want to do two-way, you have to use a telephone number. And you'll have seen from your bank, no doubt from your existing insurers, that they all have a website that says, this is how you spot a genuine message. If it doesn't look like this, don't click on it. So these rich channels have all learned from that experience. So to be able to adopt these channels and be able to set up, each of them have produced a verification process to ensure that only a legitimate business can sign up. Now, I haven't got time to go into the details of each one, but I'll give you a quick overview of the general idea. Most of them you can only access through a trusted business partner, such as Webex. And we have been through a sign-up process with each of these channels to ensure that we are robust, we have the right security principles in place, and indeed we can support every feature that these channels have. What we can then do is we can bring a customer to these channels. They will fill in a certain amount of business information, certain logos, all those sorts of things. And then there is an exchange directly between the provider. So whether that's the mobile operator, it's Google or it's Apple or indeed Meta, they will contact the customer directly. So that's where the nuance is. That each one of them does it slightly differently, but that's what we're here for. So we smooth that process over. But it does mean you can't just turn it on tomorrow. You have to go through the verification process. And that's why at the other end, your customer can place the level of trust that they can in those ticks that you're getting assigned. Because only you are going to be able to communicate as you as a business.
And to wrap up, what would you say are your top 3 considerations for insurance companies as they're exploring these rich media channels?
So the first thing to consider is what area of your business you're going after first. My recommendation is that you're able to offer all of your services at all times, appreciate that can feel a bit daunting. So where's your focus? If your focus is on lead generation and acquisition, start with Google and Apple. If your focus is on service, then focus on RCS and focus on WhatsApp, because you can bring those into service slightly quicker. Check your geography. We're very lucky to have an absolutely worldwide audience. WhatsApp is going to be more suitable in Europe and Latin and certain other areas of the world. Northern US, go for Apple and Google. WhatsApp have got about 30% of the great American public. Choose the bang for your buck. Know where your customers are. I will always recommend, it's my job, I will recommend that you use all the channels, because everybody has their place. But pick your focus, base it on your geography and what you're looking at in the use case. And my final thing, and again, it's something I'd recommend to everybody, think about it as a conversation. Don't worry necessarily about the channels. Think about the conversation you would have if your customer was sat in front of you. How would you want to talk to them? What would you want to ask them? That's what these channels represent you the opportunity to do. You're sitting effectively in front of that customer having a one-to-one conversation. So shape the messaging to match your brand. Make sure you have a persona. You know how you talk to them on a print ad. You know how you spoke to them on a TV ad. Shine through with your personality, shine through with your brand, and make sure you get to the answer as quick as that customer can. And they'll talk to you the same way they'll talk to friends and family.
Thank you so much, DCB. This has been such a great conversation. You gave us some great information about the rich messaging channels insurance companies should consider as they build out their Webex Connect deployment. We appreciate you watching this video, and be sure to continue watching the rest of the series to learn more about Webex Connect and why it's a great choice for insurance companies like yours.